morning, students. In my previous class, I discussed about that is Ohm's law. So Ohm's law gives the relationship between that is your potential difference as well as current. So showing the relationship between that is potential difference as well as current, Simon Ohm has discovered a new thing, what we call it as resistance. So already as I said to you in my previous class, resistance is nothing but it is the opposition offered by the materials for the flow of charges. So based on the opposition what the materials are going to provide for the flow of charges. So these materials have been classified as that is conductors, insulators as well as resistors. So let me continue with the other part of the lesson, students. So the next thing is that is resistance. Even this also they ask an examination for 2 marks a question based on this. So as I said to you, resistance is nothing but it is the opposition that is offered by materials. So that is for the flow of charges. So as I said to you, so based on the opposition, what the materials are going to provide for the flow of charges, they are being classified as that is conductors. Then next we have that is resistors. Then we have that is your insulators. So what are conductors? So conductors are the materials which offer very low resistance. Example for this is, so most of the metals, they are metals as well as alloys. So they are the best conductors. Already we know it. Example is copper, aluminium. So even some of the alloys, so they allow the current to pass through it. But I will be explaining to you so how these alloys are being used in electronic devices. Then, so resistors which have notable resistance. So yesterday I have shown you a resistance coil of resistance that is 2 ohm. So which have appreciable or notable what is the resistance. So those particular materials we call them as your resistors. That is resistors. Then coming to the insulators which offer very high resistance. So those materials we call them as the insulators. Example is we can take that is plastic, glass as well as that is wood. So based on already I mentioned to you and even discussed in detail also. So based on the opposition what the materials are going to offer to the flow of charges, they are being classified as that is conductors, resistors as well as your insulators. But very important question here is what are the factors on which so this resistance in a conductor depends. So for this, so let us do a small activity. So let me take a conductor which is being connected to a that is battery. So this is positive and this one is negative. I am going to connect this to a key. So let me take an ammeter here, positive as well as negative. So I am going to leave a gap over here. Then I am going to connect it in this way. So this is your battery. Then we have your key and ammeter. So the direction of the flow of current is I'm going to take a nichrome wire of length that is 1 meter and note the ammeter reading. So for the next time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the length of this nichrome wire. Instead of taking 1 meter, I am going to take that is 2 meter and connect it. So when I connect it, so when I increase the length of the wire, so what I notice the readings in the meter is, so the current flowing in this conductor, whether it is going to increase or decrease. So it is not going to increase, but whereas it is going to decrease. Why? Because as the length of the wire increases, the number of electrons also increases. So these electrons will not move very freely in a conductor. Why? Because they are offered resistance by attraction between the charges as well as the force of attraction between the charges as well as atom. So they don't move very freely. So as the number of electrons increases, I mean to say, as the length increases, the number of electrons also increases. So therefore the current will decrease here. The first factor on which the resistance in a conductor or a coil depends is, it is the length of the conductor. As I said to you, as the length increases, even the resistance also increases. Yesterday as I have discussed, so if one quantity is increasing, leading to the rise or increase of other quantity, so these both quantities are said to be directly proportional. So here resistance is directly proportional to the length of the conductor. So as the length of the conductor increases, even the resistance also increases. Now, so second factor, what I am going to do is, so second time I am going to increase the thickness of the wire. So thickness, general English word, but whereas so technical word we are using, that is your cross sectional area. So what I mean by cross sectional area, if I take a conductor, it is in the form of a cylinder. So this is the diameter of this circle. So this particular, or even we can take this particular area, we call it as your cross sectional area. So how cross sectional area? So if I am going to use a nichrome wire of that is more thickness, will the resistance increase or decrease? So if I decrease the thickness of the wire, the resistance is going to increase. Why? Because so these electrons will not have any place to move very easily. But whereas if I increase the cross sectional area or thickness of the conductor, so the area increases, so the electrons get enough space to move very easily, so the resistance decreases. So what I mean to say is, here resistance is, so here as one quantity increases, the other quantity is decreasing. So if the quantities are related in such a manner, we say that they are in inverse proportion. So here, so what we can conclude over here is, as the thickness or the area increases, the resistance will decrease. So resistance is inversely proportional to, that is your cross sectional area. So here area is nothing but it is the area of the circle itself we can take. So what solving the example, so in place of area we take the area of a circle only. Why? Because as I said to you, so the wire is in the form of a cylinder. So we consider this particular circle. So the area of the circle is been taken as the cross sectional area over here. So here resistance is inversely proportional to the cross sectional area. So what I am going to say, as the area increases, the resistance will decrease. As the area decreases, the resistance is going to increase. So this is the second factor on which the that is your resistance is dependent. So third one is that is nature of material. So nature of material, as I said, so the materials have been classified as, that is your conductors, resistors as well as insulators. So conductors and resistors, they offer, that is low resistance, but whereas your insulators, they are going to offer very high resistance. So one more thing I'll add, students, which is been not given in your textbook, but you can write in the exam. So other factor on which the resistance depends is, that is your temperature. So as the temperature increases, the resistance will it increase or decrease? It is going to increase. So even the temperature also is directly proportional to the resistance. So one more thing, let me explain you students, but a very important question is, so name the factors on which the resistance in a conductor depends. So there are three main factors what I have given in your book. So you can take this three factors. So if you want to add up, you can add up this temperature also. So once you can just repeat it. The three main factors on which the resistance in a conductor depends is, that is the length of the wire. Length increases, the resistance also increases. So resistance is directly proportional to the length. And thickness. So as the thickness increases, the resistance will decrease, so it is inversely proportional. And the nature of the material, so as already I have mentioned it. Now let me come to this formula. So if I remove this proportional sign, I have to give one more sign. So the scientists they have given a symbol like this. This particular symbol we call it as rho. So it is showing you the resistivity. So what is the meaning of resistivity? So it is the nature of the material to offer resistance. As I said to you, and it is being measured in terms of ohm meter. So these conductors, they have very less resistance. Example is, they have given a chart in your book. You can just have a glance, students. Metals, they have the resistivity of, that is 10 raised to 6 2, that is 10 raised to minus 8, very less resistivity. But whereas coming to your alloys, little more they have. But so these alloys, they have been used in your heating devices. Example is coming to tungsten. So and as well as nichrome. So we are using in coils. So they offer, that is, but compared to the metals, they are going to offer little more resistance. So because of that, so these are being used in this heating devices. But coming for your insulators, they offer very high resistance. So they have, that is from 10 raised to 12 to 10 raised to, sorry, 10 raised to 17, that is micrometer resistivity. So based on this resistivity also, we can classify the materials as, that is your conductors and insulators as well as your resistors. So students, so today we have discussed about what is resistance is and what are the factors on which the resistance depends. So in my next class I am going to discuss about how this resistors, so that particular device what I have shown to you yesterday, that is called as the resistance coil. So how these resistors are being connected, so across the ends of the conductor. So that I am going to discuss in the next class. So I am going to conclude here, students.